All right, so just to continue with the story, so my grandpa just died. I think it was like today's Tuesday, no, Wednesday. It was last Sunday. And I wanted to see them and stuff, but like I said, I've been ostracized by my family and I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's cool. So, but I'll just continue with the story, what happened. So, like I said, if it wasn't for the shoe ray machine, none of the problems would have happened with me and my family. None of it would have happened, and I want them to understand that. They want to think that there's something wrong with me. But if the shoe ray machine, like there's something inherently wrong, I have some sort of problem. If it wasn't for the shoe ray machine, none of it would have happened. If like I said, when I was trying to fix my shot, that's when I looked at the videos. That's when I lost a swag flow my sophomore year of college, and the fighting wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the shoot away machine. I just wanted help to fix my shot. I was at, I told you, my dad told me to do the wrong thing. The shoot away machine made it so I did the wrong thing. I'll get more into details on that. But anyways, at this point, this was 2013, 2014 time. My mom tried to put me in the psych ward. As I mentioned, the first psych ward said I didn't have a mental illness. Then she said she wouldn't give me a place to stay unless I start taking medicine. She forced me into the second psych ward. She told me, well, I went into the second psych ward voluntarily because I wanted, I told them I was suicidal so that they could give, so I could tell my mom, so I could talk to the doctor and he could tell my mom I don't have a mental illness. But then my mom blackmailed me, told me if she wasn't allowed to talk to the doctor, then she would break my basketball DVDs and destroy my basketball DVDs that I had. And I was trying to get my basketball DVDs. That was a big problem. They were at my grandma's house and I wanted to get to them. My mom wouldn't let me into my grandma's house. She wouldn't let me, so, then they ended up giving me an injection. But then I was sent to the outpatient program. In the outpatient program, they gave me the MMPI and they gave me all the tests. And they said, I don't have a mental illness because I told them to give me the test. And they told my mom that she has to stop giving me medicine. But one thing that my mom did was she told the people at the psych ward, she was like, he's mentally ill. He can't work. He needs to be on Social Security. And then the people at the psych ward were like, the nurses and stuff, they're like, whoa, that's really bad. So you're trying to force him to take medicine so that you can get him Social Security? They're like, that's fraud. That's really terrible. And they're trying to, and my mom was like, because my grandpa was like, well, what Ryan really, in high school when my shot got messed up with the shoot away, my grandpa was like, well, the reason why Ryan's having difficulty with, because he just made up some shit. This is because he was a family he was like a family therapist or a marriage therapist, so he thought he knew all this shit. So he's like, well, this is very common, sons fight with their fathers, and this is very common. And what Ryan really wants is independence. And this is just a common reaction to wanting independence. Around this age, people start to want independence and they start to fight with their parents. So that's what Ryan really wants. My mom's like, yeah, that's what Ryan really wants. He wants independence. Now get him the fuck away from us. I hate him. And my dad's like, yeah, just get independence. The problem at the time was my shot got messed up. My dad told me to do the wrong thing. I'm trying to fix it. My dad helped me my whole life. And, he was trying to help me. But he didn't realize it was because I was picking up off the shoot away machine that I wasn't moving into shots right that makes you shoot right. So my dad was trying to fix it, but he told me to do the wrong thing, and then he's upset. He's like, I give up. You fucking suck. I give up. I can't help you anymore. But I needed help. And then that's when, the fighting started happening. So I'm like, Dad, please, I need your help. Can we please shoot 15 minutes? Come on. Just once a week for 15 minutes. That's all I need. No. And then he would help me if I was doing good. But then it was very capricious. So that was the problem. And then, so I'm like, Dad, I need your help, No, I give up. You suck. It's no use. Or he'd go out there and he'd be like, well, why are you shooting with the left one for white? Why are you shooting square? It's because I'm picking the ball off the rack, but he didn't know that. I'm picking the ball off the shoot away rack, and I showed the details. Like I said, I was never going to show that because I don't want to make good shooters think, but I can go into way more details about how good shooters shoot, how they move into shots, all that stuff. But I'll get into that. But like I said, even it took me a long time until 2019 to figure out what to kind of fix my shot. But anyways, my mom was just like, my mom sent me to the psych ward, and then she was like, he's mentally ill. He can't work. He needs to be on Social Security. And then the ladies the nurses were like, he's not mentally ill. He graduated from college. If he was mentally ill, if he had schizophrenia, he wouldn't have been able to graduate. And they're telling her, listen, he's smart. Like, we gave him an IQ test. He says he wants to go into graduate school or get a master's degree. Like, you should help him do that. My mom was like, oh my God, you guys don't realize he has schizophrenia. And they're like, no, they told my mom, we think that you might have a personality disorder or some sort of mental illness, but Ryan does not. My mom's like, but he doesn't work. I just got out of college. And I was coaching basketball, but my mom was desperately wanting to believe I was mentally ill. Why? I think it's because they abused me in high school. And like I said, right when I showed them the quadrant model, my mom was like, this is why your shot got messed up in high school. It was because you started to become mentally ill and you fell apart because you couldn't handle the pressure. And that's not what happened. What happened was a shoot away machine. And I could go into very big detail, but I can't because I don't want to make a sure sink. But I do want to show my mom and dad. I do want to show my dad what the shoot away machine did, how good shooters shoot, and all that. But anyways, so but my grandpa was like, oh, what Ryan really wants is independence. So my mom was like, I just want to be independent. I want him out of my life. But my grandpa didn't know. My grandpa, when I tried to tell my grandpa after I graduated, when I was in Kauai, I was trying to talk to my mom, and I was like, Mom, can I please talk to you and Dad? And my mom was like, no. And I was like, she was like, no, you remember how terrible you were in high school? Do you think your dad wants anything to do with you? He's embarrassed he has a schizophrenic son. He's embarrassed. He doesn't want anything to do with you. Don't you remember how you treated him in high school? And I was like, yes, that was tragic, but I figured out what happened. It was because of the shoot away machine. That's why. And Mom was like, oh my God, you don't take responsibility for anything. Oh my God, you're fucking ridiculous. And then my dad was like, no, yeah. And I couldn't, you see, but this is the thing. People are going to think that I was interacting with my mom. I was talking to my mom on the phone. I was in Kauai. People are going to think, oh, your mom must have had a reason to think you're schizophrenic. She must have been interacting with you. No, I hadn't interacted with my mom since high school. She hadn't seen me since high school. And I already graduated from college. And she hasn't seen me since. People are going to assume when I'm talking to my mom that, no, I only talk to my mom for like 5 minutes on the phone. She hangs up on me. So she's like, oh my God, you're ridiculous. It wasn't a shoot away. And I tried to tell my grandpa, because I was trying to say, Grandpa, can I talk to you, Mom and Dad? And my grandpa's whole thing was like, well, what you really want is independence. No, I don't want independence. I want help. I want support. I want to, I want to have, my family's goodwill. I don't want to be called schizophrenic. And even my grandpa said, my grandpa told me, your mom is very immature. She expresses predator-prey dualistic software calling you schizophrenic. That's very immature. You're not schizophrenic. And he tried to tell my mom that I wasn't schizophrenic. And my mom was like, oh, but my mom and dad were like, of course he's schizophrenic. You're not even a real, and that's when they're like, oh, you're not even a real psychiatrist. That's what my grandpa told me. He said that they told him that he wasn't a real psychologist. He had a PhD in psychology, but it was in spiritual psychology. Like, you're not even a real psychologist. You're a spiritual psychologist. But my grandpa was full of shit, though. So my grandpa's like, well, Ryan, what you really want is independence. No, I didn't want independence. So my mom's like, yeah, I just wanted. So when my mom was talking to the people at the nurses at the psych ward that said I didn't have mental illness, my mom's like, I just wanted to be independent. I just want him out of my life. And then, but my mom thought that she was being normal. But the nurses were like, whoa, how can you talk to your son like that? They're like, so long as you talk to your son like that, or talk about your son like that, he's going to have problems. Like, you shouldn't do that. But my mom didn't get it because my mom's like, well, that's what his grandpa teaches. That's what what? I don't understand. So my mom does that I tricked the nurses. But the nurses said, you can't trick a doctor. A doctor cannot be tricked. If the doctor says you don't have any mental illness, which the doctor said about me, you don't have any mental illness. You don't have any personality disorder. That's what they said. But anyways, so my mom didn't believe it. And she's like, well, he can't work. He needs to be on Social Security. He's mentally ill. And then the nurses were like, because that's one of the reasons why my mom wanted me in the psych ward. But the nurses were like, whoa, that's fraud. Like, you can't force your son to get medicine so you could put him on Social Security. Like, this is really bad. So anyways, then after that, I'm trying to get in touch with my mom. I'm trying to get some help, But my mom was like, you're not going to get anything from me. I just want you independent. You're not going to get a car. My sister has a car. You're not going to get anything. But then finally she gave, but the nurses told her, they said, you got to stop trying to make him take medicine, which she was doing before. She was like, I'll give you a car. I'll give you a place to stay. I'll do all that once you start taking medicine. She wanted to have control over me. She wanted to be like, see, you were schizophrenic. You're taking medicine now. You see? I was right. This is why your shot got messed up. This is why all the problems happened, because you're mentally ill. No, it was a shoot-away machine. If it wasn't for the shoot-away machine, none of it would have happened. But, so then my mom gave me an apartment. She gave me an apartment in Escondido. But the apartment was on the second floor. And Now, like I said, they had given me an injection in the second hospital. I went to the outpatient program. They said I didn't have a mental illness, but the injection doesn't start secreting until 2 weeks. So 2 weeks later, it starts secreting, and that's when I almost died. That's when I basically, like, the first day that it started secreting, my muscles started twitching. I'm laying down, like I'm drooling. It was bad for and it secretes for 2 months. They say that within weeks it gives you brain damage, like it shrinks your brain. And I started to get tardive dyskinesia, and it's still to this day my fingers will do this, against my will, certain times of the day. And I grew breast tissue. I got gynecomastia, and I sued them for $25,000 for that, and a bunch of stuff. So, and I want to sue them a lot more. Once the Quadra model gets big, I will try to hopefully sue as much as I can. I don't know if it's too late now, but I'll try to do what I can do. But but so I needed, but my mom put me on the second floor, and my grandpa was like, well, Ryan, you're really, my grandpa was shocked. He was like, you've been brutalized by this medicine, that the shot that they gave me that was secreting for 2 months. So my grandpa was like, you need to start working out and getting this out of your system. And my grandpa was really upset about it. And like I said, when I was in the psych ward, I called my grandpa and I said, Grandpa, can you please get me out of here? My grandpa said, this is the consequence of you not being independent. And so he's like, I'm not going to get you out of there. But my grandpa, he told me, I didn't even think that you were in the psych ward. I thought you were just making that up because I thought that you were just trying to get me to pick you up from somewhere. And you see, this is a fucking bullshit. I discovered theory of everything. He didn't believe me. He was like, well, you didn't discover theory of everything. You're just trying to stay independent you're just trying to stay dependent on your mom and dad. This is just a ego strategy to stay dependent on your mom and dad. No, that's not. I really did discover the theory of everything. I really did discover a huge theory. So, but basically, my grandpa's stupid. These people are all stupid, So it's like, so I'm trying to, but he's like, everything is energy. That's not the theory of everything. The theory of everything is energy. And it's all energy and synergy and anti-entropic reordering function. And so, but I'm trying to call my grandpa. But when he saw me after the shot, like 2 weeks after the injection, they had already established I didn't have a mental illness, but they made the fucking mistake of giving me that shot. The first thing. So then my grandpa was like, oh, he felt really bad. And he was like, if I would have known that you were really in the psych ward, I would have got you out. And like, I feel bad about this because he saw how messed up I was. He said that he looked at my eyes and they were vacant. I was dead. It really destroyed me. So for 2 months, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't take more than 5 steps. I would take 5 steps and I would collapse. I'm not making this up. I would lay down and I'd be in too much pain. I'd have to move. But if I moved, I was in too much pain. It was the worst type of suffering you can ever imagine. I'm not even exaggerating at all. I'm not a drama queen. I'm not a diva. I'm not that fucking shit. If people are going to listen to these things, they're going to think, oh, you must be a diva. You haven't fucking interacted with me. You're going to make assumptions. You don't know shit about me. So, this is me articulating. If you meet me in real life, I barely even fucking talk. I'm very quiet. I'm very humble. I'm a normal person. I don't have any mental illness. But people are going to make stupid assumptions. They don't realize I discovered theory of everything. I'm doing good. So, but, so my grandpa was like, you need to start working out and stuff. But I was on the second floor apartment and I couldn't work out because it makes too much noise for the people below. And I used to when I would work out, I would dribble, I would jump around, I would do all that stuff. So I told my mom, she gave me an apartment in Escondido. I was like, Mom, can you, she just got me this apartment. And I was like, and I told her before she got the apartment, I want a first floor apartment so I could work out. She gave me a second floor apartment. So I was like, Mom, I would like to have a first floor apartment. Can we just move me to a first floor? She was like, no, you can't. No, you can't have your cake and eat it too. I give you an apartment. You see, all you want is to get your way. You can't be happy with anything. You just want to get your way. And the reason why she's like this, again, you see, my whole life, people are going to think, oh, your mom must have always been like this. My whole life, my mom and dad spoiled me. My grandpa would admit it. This is what my uncle was saying. My uncle, when they forced me into choir, he was like, it's funny because your mom and dad did everything for you. They spoiled you. They thought that they treated you like you're a king. And now that the basketball didn't work out, now they treat you like shit and they throw you to the side. And that's what my uncle even said about the psych ward. He said they tried to throw you under the bus because they wanted to get you out of their life because they realized that they abused you and they wanted to shut you up. And that's true. Because I started to, before they put me in the psych ward, I started to tell people online that my family had abused me from the thing. Because I was trying to get my mom and dad to talk to me, but they wouldn't talk to me or see me. And they were trying to force me into the psych ward and it's all this shit. So my uncle was like, dude, it's fucked up. Your family really, they did everything for you, and they handicapped you by doing everything for you, and then they throw you to the side and they say now do everything yourself when they hadn't even taught me how to do anything. They hadn't done so. So and like I said, the problem that happened was because the shoot away messed up my shot. My dad was trying to fix it. He was like, Ryan, I'll just show one more time what happened. Actually, I'll show it later. But the shoot away machine messed up my shot, and then it caused problems because I'm like, my dad's trying to fix it. He's like, Ryan, you're shooting. I didn't even know it was wrong on my shot. He's like, Ryan, you're shooting with left foot in front of your right. I didn't know that, but it's because I was picking the ball off the rack. When you pick the ball off the rack, that's going to make you do that, the way you step into it. And then my dad's like, well, put your right foot in front of your left, and then stick your right foot to this side, and put your left foot straight forward. That's the exact opposite of how I used to shoot. I used to shoot my left foot pointed out, right foot forward. And the way I did that was how I moved into shots, which you can't do picking the ball off of a rack. So, and then so I'm like, I'm trying to shoot the way my dad's shooting, and of course I'm going to be shooting bad. And my dad's like, oh, you fucking suck, I give up. But I felt like I needed his help. So I'm like, and I did need his help. He helped me my whole life. What I really needed was to get the shoot away machine out of my backyard, but I didn't know that. So I'm trying to tell my dad, please, I need your help. Can we shoot? So that's that was the first time my dad ever hit me in my life. The first time he ever abused me. The first time I was ever hit in my life was in the 10th grade when, again, I was shooting in the backyard. My dad was like, Ryan, you're shooting with your left foot in front of your right. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm just shooting. And my dad was like, I give up. You fucking suck. I give up. I can't do this anymore. He goes inside. He's like, you fucking suck. I can't help you anymore. And I was like, Dad, come on, 15 more minutes. Come on, just come back out. You ask me again, I'm going to fuck you up. And I was like, Dad, come on. And then that's when he grabbed me, threw me to the ground, and started beating me up. That was the first time that ever happened. So, but I'm just, and then, after that, he would try to help me. And then it was just a cycle of abuse. He tried to help me. He'd get frustrated. And we didn't know it was a shoot away machine. That was the problem. But then my grandpa, again, I tried to tell my grandpa, and after, when I was in Kauai, after I graduated from college, I was like, Grandpa, it was the shoot away machine. I realized that that's what happened. And my grandpa was like, oh, it wasn't a shoot away machine. It was because you were playing against bigger, better players and you got frustrated. And that's why your dad beat you up, because you were frustrated and you were treating him with disrespect. No, that's not what happened. I wasn't even frustrated. I was just trying to fix my shot, and I didn't know what was a problem. And my dad was the one who even told me that I had a problem with my shot in the first place. So this is the thing. Everyone dismissed me, they don't know to fucking listen to me. I discovered theory of everything is stupid. But and he didn't realize that I was a great player. I tried to tell my grandpa, I was a great player. This is another thing. I'll get to this later. But my grandpa would later, I posted some videos online, and he looked at the videos, and he was like, Ryan, you were the starting point guard on varsity as a freshman? And I was like, yes. And he was like, Ronaldo Woolrich didn't play varsity as a freshman? And I was like, no, he didn't. And my grandpa was like, what? Because he's like, you suck, and Ronaldo's really good. Yes, I started to suck after the shoot away machine messed up my shot, and all this stuff deteriorated. But I was better. I was really good. I was one of the best players in the nation. But my grandpa never believed that. He lived in Kauai. He never knew that. So, anyways, I got the injection. A week later, I'm at the outpatient program. They said I didn't have a mental illness. They gave me the MMPI and everything. They told my mom that she has to stop trying to make me take medicine. But then, when I went to but then started to secrete, and I almost died. But then I was like, I need to get, I need a place to stay, or I need to start working out. But my mom gave me a second floor apartment in Escondido, and apparently this was the worst apartment complex in Escondido. I had some Mexican friends. They're like, dude, we're afraid to go to we stay away from your apartment complex. It's the most dangerous place in Escondido. Like, Escondido is like the worst place in that area. They're like, it's the most dangerous place. We will never go there. That's where my mom gave me the apartment on the second floor. And I was like, Mom, I need to be on the first floor so I can start working out, because if I work out on the second floor, it's too much noise for the person below me. My mom was like, oh my God, you just can never be happy about anything. You just want to get your way. And I was like, Mom, please, it will help me to be on the first floor. It'll probably be the same price. Can you just move me to a first floor apartment? Oh my God, you just try to make you can't force things. All you want to do is just get your way. You can't make things happen, Ryan. You can't make things happen. And this was stemming from, and this is why I want to bring up to her about the shoot away machine. It stems from high school when my shot got messed up. Like I said, my mom always did everything for me. But then after my shot got messed up and I tried to get help from my dad, my grandpa comes in and he's like, Ryan, you just need to, your dad says he's not going to help you. You just need to accept, when he says he's not going to help, he did help me. My dad would come back and forth to helping me, especially if I started playing good. But he's like, you just need to accept no for an answer. You can't make things happen. You can't force people, Ryan. You can't force things. But I needed help with my shot, and that's where the problem happened. Like I said, if it wasn't for the shoot-away machine, none of it would have happened. So I'm like, Dad, so I need help. And then my mom's like, yeah, Ryan, you can't force things. You can't force things. Everything is just fine. Because my grandpa would be like, Ryan, you have to understand the universe is one, and just trust, and everything is just fine, and you can't make things happen. So I was like, yes, Ryan, everything's, as my dad's beating me up, everything is just fine. You can't force things, Ryan. Look at how ugly he is, Paul. Look at how, you're a piece of shit. Because she was pissed at me. She was like, she was like, why do you suck so much? What happened to you? Oh my God, you're a shooter. What happened to you? It was a shoot-away machine. But my mom's like, oh my God, like, you can't make things happen. You can't force things. So then ever since then, if I want anything, my mom's like, no, you can't make things happen. I don't want anything. Because she developed a hatred and a contempt for me, a negative attitude toward me, which is unwarranted and undeserved. It was because of the shoot-away machine. But she thinks it was because of me. She thinks there was something wrong with me. She thinks I have a mental illness. That's why when I showed her the quadrant model, she was so quick to be like, oh, you're schizophrenic. That's what happened. No, I didn't have a mental illness. It was a shoot-away machine. But so I'm saying, like, can I just get a first floor apartment? Even my grandpa told me you should get a first floor apartment, and he was like, your mom should probably get you a first floor apartment. That will help you to recover from the shot. But my mom was like, oh, you just want to get your way. You can't make things happen, Ryan. You're not going to get your way. I'm not going to give you your way. And it stems from the shoot-away machine in high school when my mom was like, that's what my grandpa would be like. He'd be like, Ryan, you can't get your way. You can't force things. You can't always get your way. You can't get your way. You just want to get your way. You just have to accept everything is just fine. And you can't force things. You can't make things happen. So my mom's like, you just want to get your way. You can't make things happen, Ryan. So guess what happens? A month later, I'm working out on the second floor. I don't want to make too much noise because I have to warm up a lot before I work out. So I'm doing lunges, but I didn't warm up. And I hurt the back of my knee. I tore a tendon in the back of my knee. So then I'm really fucked because I'm like, I need to start working out. I want to get back into basketball. I can only, do rap and basketball. I can only do rap music when I'm playing basketball. I want to recover. But then because my mom wouldn't give me a first floor apartment and I was on the second floor, I tore a tendon in the back of my knee. Now my mom, later I would try to tell my mom this. My mom's like, oh my God, you don't take responsibility for anything. Oh my God, you blame me for everything. No, it was all your fault. It's all your fault. It's not anybody's fault but yours. You got to take responsibility, because she thought that's what my grandpa taught. But even my grandpa would say, he says, your mom's immature. She doesn't understand. I cast pearls of swine. She expresses predator-prey software. So I'll get more later.